Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 40th edition of the Uninformed Fan. Happy 40, everybody. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A few more episodes, and we're going to be eligible to move into a senior community.
I think it is great. I'm the only part of this show that's not at 40, you know?
Jeremy's not 40, is he?
Jeremy is 44.
Jeremy's 44? Wow.
Jerome, you want to chime in here?
Yeah, I just celebrated my 44th birthday a couple weeks ago, yes.
Happy belated birthday, Bubba.
Well, I told him happy birthday that day. Wow, I didn't know he was 44. Okay.
Happy birthday to the Uninformed Fan, 40 years old. How's it going? What's going on? How's life?
Well, today is Hump Day. You know, we got some strange things in the NBA. Apparently, Anthony Davis is going to play. We had some great games. Let's just get right into it. Everybody's doing great. It's Hump Day. We're getting ready to leave for F1. Vibes are high. Let's get it on. So, NBA action. 76ers did take game one from the Boston Celtics, as Mr. Jeffrey did call. James Harden goes off with 45, Maxey with 26. And we saw the same Celtics team that we've seen throughout numerous times throughout these series, is they just don't seem to care. They just feel like that they're going to go out there, play a little street ball, and win the game. And I'm looking directly at the coach on this. You did the same thing with Atlanta throughout the entire series. You've done the same thing with the 76ers on game one. At what point do you get your team ready to play? They just don't seem like they're ready to play. They seem very discombobulated. And, you know, you got Tatum that obviously went off for 39, Brown with 23. But there has to be other people involved here. I mean, Williams has got to, get a little bit more aggressive on the boards. But overall, it just seems to me like this team synergy. You said it before that the town is reeling. They're deflated from the Bruins loss at home.
Collapse.
Are they going to be able to get it? Of course, Aaron Rodgers is at the game. No, not this game. No, he was not this game. I'm sorry. I was going to put this on Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to save that for. I was going to save that for another. But at the end of the day, the Boston Celtics just don't look like they want to be there for whatever reason. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I'm correct for now. Sports is very fleeting, so you enjoy your W's while you can. I have enjoyed this one because it was a pretty big call, and I was laughed off this show by my co-host as well too.
Whoa! No, time out. There was not laughed. I just said Boston wins the game, and if you remember, the spread was 9.5. Listen, we can rewind it. I said I don't think that they win by 10 though.
Please rewind it. You said I will take all that action that you would like to give me.
I did. I thought Boston would definitely win the game. I didn't think they were winning by 10, but I definitely thought that they would win the game. You're absolutely right. I was wrong. It happens numerous times throughout the day.
It does. I mean, what are we going to do?
It's almost like picking up a pitcher in Major League Baseball and fantasy and then just not playing them. Kind of like the same thing a little bit. But what are your thoughts?
It doesn't really equate whatsoever, but it's fine. You can go with that narrative if you want to.
Thank you.
I thought this looked like a scrimmage from the Celtics. There was no passion whatsoever defensively. Both teams, it seemed like they just kind of understood. Like I said, when you give a professional basketball team who is very good multiple days off to prepare for a team, and they saw what worked against them, it was kind of that slow. I'm sorry, the fast-paced up and down. You have a guy like James Harden who fills that same Trae Young role. Figure out how the ancillary pieces work around him as well to be able to make it happen. You like that?
Ancillary, nice.
Ancillary pieces. Listen, they made it happen. I thought it was a great game. I thought Harden played out of his mind, which I knew that he could. I loved his comments after the game. All about the same thing as Jimmy Butler, probably the guy he's going to see in the Eastern Conference Finals, about how I am whatever my team needs me to be, and I learned that this year. I learned this year that playing through the regular season that what my team needed to be was a distributor and get the ball to Joel and not be that same up and down guy, taking threes, dominating the ball. I had to get everybody else involved. So that was my role then. Joel's out right now. This is my role now. And it takes a special player to be able to turn that on and off and figure out which one your team needs by what's going on in the game in the moment. So shout out to James Harden. Great game from him. Now let's see what happens tonight. We just got news from our producer, Jeremy Swinson, that it looks like Joel Embiid will play tonight. I think it's a big mistake. I think it's a lot of risk, and I guess the reward is there, though. I guess if you look at it, you have a chance to put your throat on the Celtics or put your foot on the Celtics' throat, in this series by Embiid coming back and playing. I will say the lines have not moved yet. If you were watching this live, it is still +5 Philly first half and +8.5 for the game. I just hopped on it personally. This might be one of those situations where everybody does, right? Like I faded the public last time because everybody was on Boston, and now I'm being the public here and going the other way. But I don't care. I think Philly's the better team. I think Embiid obviously is the MVP, and I think it's going to be a great game tonight.
Hopefully it is. It was a great game the last game. The Celtics kind of petered down the road, but the Celtics came out absolutely on fire. I think the first quarter they shot 90% from the field.
They were at like 70% in the third quarter.
They ended up at 59% from the game. And, a lot of people were talking on our group chat, obviously, but there was just a ton of layups, a lot of backdoor cuts, a lot of easy baskets. It wasn't like they were draining threes from all over the place and making it in. If Boston does, I don't know. You're absolutely right. I think that, when Doc's looking at this and whether Embiid comes back and play, obviously he just won the MVP, so of course he probably wants to show a little face there. But if you take him 2-0 out of the Garden and going back into Philly, I mean that's a big advantage, and I think it's one that does risk, as you say. And if they don't, and if he comes in and doesn't feel right, they can always pull him back out. It's not like that. They're optioning anybody to bring up or anything of that nature.
I was listening to somebody talk. I forget who it was. They were talking about the pregame routine, right? And if Jimmy Butler comes out, because every player is going to say, "I'm good to go. I want to go. I'm going to play." And what you say to them is you say, okay, let's go through your normal pregame routine. And if that player says, oh, well, I'm going to go out a little bit later, or, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to tweak this a little bit, that they're not ready. Because if you're ready and you're fully healthy and you have nothing in the back of your mind that you're thinking about, you're just going to go through the motions in your regular pregame routine and be fine. So, listen, as of now, they say he's going to play. Cool. Let's see what happens. I still think that whether he plays or not, I'm still going to take the 76ers in this series like I did before anyway, because I do have them to go to the NBA championship. And, yeah, I think there is an issue with some three-point shooting here. It seems to be in Boston. I know they shot the ball really well, but I think if you look at their team, like if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, aren't knocking down those huge threes, like Malcolm Brogdon is not really that guy. Derek White is not really that guy. You know what I mean? Like Marcus Smart's not that guy. Al Horford, this is going to be interesting to me. Like, how does Al Horford try to guard Joel Embiid if Embiid is actually what Embiid's going to be? I think it's a tough ask for a guy, and Al Horford's one of my favorite humans, favorite basketball players that I've watched been able to play, even though he played for a college that I am not a fan of, at the University of Florida. I can still respect him.
National championship. National champion, Florida Gators.
Yes. Well, sure. I mean, I guess any team that's won a national championship, we can call them a national championship team.
Al Horford was on the team, was he not?
He was, but like...
There you go.
Yeah.
So he's a national champion.
20 years ago.
He's a national champion.
Okay. Absolutely, he is. I didn't
Thank
mean
you.
To disrespect him.
Exactly. Just give the man his flowers.
It's interesting to me. I feel like Grant Williams hasn't got a lot of burn in, the first game, 4 minutes he plays. I don't know. Is he coming off injury or something?
No idea. No idea whatsoever.
I like to see him get more involved, but I do understand that there's only so many pieces and so many minutes that they're going to have. Robert Williams will have to come up huge for the Celtics if they plan on beating Philly in this series, in my opinion.
I was really surprised what you were talking about, Malcolm Brogdon, right? And he played a lot. He was on the court for 33 minutes of this game, and I actually looked at Bianca and I go, "Who is this guy?"
All-star.
I've never, but I'm just saying, I've never seen him carry the amount of minutes that he carried in game one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jason can, chime in and tell me I'm wrong. But I just don't feel like I saw more of Derek White, and more of the role players. I mean, I don't know. He was in there for a lot, and he didn't do a lot. He did put up 20 points, but to me, he didn't seem like he gelled with the teams. I don't know. I think that there's definitely going to need to be some switching going on here. The bottom line is, Coach, I'm looking directly at you. It's your job, if nothing else, to get this team 100% ready and focused to play. They were neither in the Atlanta series. They were not yesterday against the 76ers. This is on you. This is your first year. This is, you took over. This is on you guys. I mean, there's no way that the Celtic team can perform like this. There's too many expectations. The team is way too good to be performing like this, to get beat without the MVP playing against you. I don't know. So what do we have? Is that tonight? So we have tonight. Tonight. Celtics are still favored by 7.5 points. I don't like that either. I feel like, Vegas is just baiting everybody just like they did the first one. No Embiid, 10 points. I thought that Boston was still going to win. I didn't think they were going to beat 10 points. I think that if we've learned anything by these playoffs is that outside of the Nuggets, which we're going to get into in here, the Dogs have covered most of the time. They've been good games, especially the Heat series. I mean, if you would have tagged the Heat the whole way through, you'd probably be doing pretty well right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, Vegas just hung a weird line there for a professional basketball team. It was almost like the line they hung against what was that baseball game that was played in
the Padres and the Giants in Mexico.
Yeah, they hung the line at
they put up 35 points the first game, and then they came back with 20.
Yeah, 35 runs.
Yeah.
The game before, and then of course everybody's going to take the over, and you said it at 20. It's the biggest fade in the world. I mean,
we put that on the group text. I'm like, that just screams under.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. Anyway,
Jay Swin did say that Joe Mazzulla did come out and admit that loss was on him on game one. Well, good for you, but you're still down 0-1. So moving out west, like we did talk about, the Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets, they're just continuing to roll. Jokic 39 points, leading the way. Suns had Booker with 35, Durant with 24. The Nuggets are up 2-0 in this series, and we watched this game on the couch. I actually had some sound on for this one. To me, again, I know we talked about it numerous times. The Joker's just out there having fun, man. He is. I've never seen somebody just reach out his arm and throw up a ball from so many different angles, and it just goes in the hole. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So, unfortunately, this series is over. Okay, Chris Paul unfortunately got hurt. He will not play again in the series. I'm just going to go ahead and say that because I don't think the series is going to go more than 5 games anyway. I do think it's very unfortunate for KD and for Booker. It's more of an egregious move by the Suns, in my opinion, and the way that they decided to construct this team, because they gave up all the depth, they gave up all the great pieces that they had to go get a Kevin Durant, and the pieces that you gave up. Those parts are a greater sum than Kevin Durant, in my opinion. When you talk about the scoring that a guy like Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson, these guys provide, it's more than what KD does, and it gives you more depth and more pieces to throw at people. They have zero depth on the team whatsoever. Every possession is Booker or KD trying to create some kind of offense. Ayton is just eating it up. The only thought that I have in this series... The only thought that I have in this series is if there's one move that I think Monty Williams could make, and I think it'd be interesting. I'd like to see the way it works. Is I would put Kevin Durant on Nikola Jokic. The reason for that is that because Jokic draws whoever's guarding him out so far away from the paint most of the time, you could have Kevin Durant kind of guard him up top. KD is one of the best long, lanky dudes at being able to take charges. And
the Durantula.
Do that all the time, where Jokic puts his shoulder down, he's going to drive to the rim, KD takes the charge, boom, let's get an offensive foul and go the other way. That way you can also have Ayton kind of floating around the bottom. He doesn't get pulled out. You're going to cut off those drives to the lane. I mean, if you watch this game, this is like almost an old school basketball game with the physicality that was played with, the way the pace was, the tempo was, the shooting. I thought it was a fun game to watch. Phoenix knew that they had to get that game to be in this series. They did not. Unfortunately, I think it's a gentleman's sweep. I think Phoenix maybe gets one more game, and then which will be tomorrow or whatever it is, and then you'll see 2 in a row from the Nuggets.
Well, we'll see what happens. As we have seen throughout the entire playoffs with CP3 going out now, is we have seen a lot of next men up mentality. We've seen it from the Knicks. We've seen it from the Heat. We've seen it from multiple teams, the Philadelphia 76ers, where the guys that normally don't have that shine or that kind of playing time get that limelight and take it off. So we'll see. I definitely agree with you. The Suns are in a huge hole. And I remember when the Kevin Durant trade talk was coming around, and there was rumors, of the Bulls as well. And Kevin Durant is one of the best players in the NBA. Obviously, we can all agree with that. But as to your point, what do you give up for one player? I mean, you're
Like
basically
Rudy Gobert, like
you're basically mortgaging your whole team for one player. And for how long is that player even going to be there? What does he have? Does he have another year left on his contract, or is this it? Who
I think
knows?
a year or two. I think he re-upped with Brooklyn, I believe.
I mean, it's just when you give away that much stuff. Now, I will say this. I will say that, the NBA is a little bit different than some of the other ones, first round picks and stuff like that. They're outside of, those top 3 guys or whatever that you have going on there. The NBA to me is a very developmental league, right? So when you do get superstars and they're proven superstars, then you need to go after them if you didn't get the chance to develop them on your own. However, I just think that you're giving up too much. I mean, I remember when they was talking to the Bulls, they were talking about giving up like Levine, Vucevic, 3 first-rounders, and like 2 other guys. And like, why? No, why would you do that for one player? I just don't. I never really understood it. But on the same token, like you said, I think that the Suns obviously are done. I did pick them to come out of the West, but this team is just...
I don't know. Whoever that GM was that had that trade lined up, we should have clicked accept on that. I don't know. Levine, Vooch, and 3 first.
It was more. There was other players as well.
That's insane. I will say I do think a year of Kevin Durant and a year for their GM to navigate. I think the Suns will probably be the favorite next year in the West, in my opinion, because you're gonna have a bunch of guys who are gonna hop on and be like, "Yo, I'll take a middling contract to try to be on a competitive team and try to go win a championship." So they'll be able to fill out that roster fine next year. It's just they didn't have time this year. You had to do everything trade market, and they put themselves about behind the 8 ball, shall we say?
Yeah, but I look at that the same way as like NFL. It's like when the Bucks traded for Tom Brady, right? It was a win or nothing. So if you didn't have the pieces there and you brought the guy in, what's the point? You know what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. When you brought Tom Brady in, you wanted to make sure that you had the pieces there to win right then and there, because you knew that you only had him for a couple years, possibly. So the same token, you're bringing in a Kevin Durant. You need to make sure that you have the depth and the pieces to win right then and there. That's why the trade is made, to win this year, correct? They were automatically the favorites to win.
If you would, by people who gamble, casual sports gamblers, I didn't pick them to come out of the West. I'll say this, like, if you look at, let's say the Bucks did trade for Tom Brady, right? Or let's say the Bucks had an opportunity to get Tom Brady, but their team wasn't going to be great, but they knew they were going to have Tom Brady for 3 years. Okay, then you're going to take Tom Brady when you can, because yes, he's still going to be in that 3-year window, and you're going to figure it out the next 2 years. So my opinion.
I don't know. I think that if you're a Suns fan, once you got Kevin Durant, you wanted to win right then and there. That's the whole point.
You know any Suns fans?
There's one. Yeah, one guy I know. One guy I know. Well, let's get into the Miami Heat. We'll talk about those in just a second, about the free agents here. The Miami Heat, without Jimmy Butler, I thought they were still going to pull this off. In the Garden again, they end up losing 105-111, but I think the Heat have to walk away with this with nothing but head held high. They still almost beat the Knicks without Jimmy Butler. The team, I think this just goes to show again, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best NBA coaches in the league. He always seems to have his guys ready, no matter who they're playing, what they're doing. They did have a couple blips here, earlier when, obviously they lost to Atlanta in the first playoff game. They were down big to the Bulls, and they come back. And ever since then, they've just been looking so sharp. I think that the Knicks had to win that game. Going back now to the Heat, I mean, the Heat just have to be loving life right now, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that there's anything that the Knicks have shown in these first 2 games that prove to me that they're going to be able to beat this Heat team in a 7-game series. Give me the Heat all day. I think the Heat probably take both of them in Miami and go back and close it out at the Garden.
Well, I mean, if Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are going to play the way that they played, then yeah, you add in Jimmy Butler. That's going to be a very tough matchup for anybody. I think when I look at this game, I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I was at work, unfortunately, but I will say, I just looking at a quick box score, man, quickly has got to be better. Like, if you're the Knicks, you got great balanced scoring when it comes to Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and RJ Barrett. But the X factor your entire year has been quickly, right? He has been the guy who has had huge games He's driven the pace when he comes up off the bench. I need better games from him if the Knicks are going to have a shot to win this series.
Absolutely. What is Randall? How did Randall do? I didn't look at his stat line.
Played great. He played 38 minutes coming off the injury, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 8 dimes, was Mr. Everything as he is for that team. Played great.
Good. So the last game that we got out the West, the Lakers. The Lakers go into Golden State and win last night, which was, I don't think anybody really thought that was going to happen. Anthony Davis decided to have a game. And, I'm putting this all the way back still on Dylan Brooks. And the reason why I'm doing this is back in that Sacramento series, the Lakers were on the ropes. He decides to run his mouth about LeBron James. Now, obviously, even if you're on the team, if you don't like LeBron...
The Grizzlies series, I'm sorry.
The
Grizzlies.
Okay. Dylan Brooks decides to run his mouth about LeBron James. Now, regardless of what you think about LeBron James or how the team's synergy is, when you start talking crap about one of the best players, the team is going to rally. And that's what you've seen here. You've seen this Lakers team come together and start to play team basketball for whatever reason. And I think it's completely because of Dylan Brooks. They came together to do that. They figured out that they have a great team, and if they learn to communicate and they learn to distribute the basketball, that they're going to put up great numbers. And we saw that here. I mean, the defense that I saw being played on Stephon Curry in that game was absolutely amazing. He could not get off of people. There was somebody on him every single play, like a glove. He didn't get any clean. I mean, obviously he's going to get some clean looks, but it wasn't like any of the other games where he was getting clean looks every other play. It was a great defensive effort by the Lakers, in my opinion, on that. He got 27, and in my opinion, anytime you hold Steph Curry to 27 points, that's a win.
A win.
And it showed up, obviously. Anthony Davis, just an absolute monster. 30 points, 23 rebounds. You knew that I was going to go there. If he plays like this, I think your dark horse is going to be getting a little bit lighter as the playoffs go on, and they could become a front runner.
I mentioned something about Jared Vanderbilt guarding Steph Curry, and I thought he did a great job of, especially up top on those switches, being able to get off of him, stay with him. I thought Darvin Ham had a great game plan going into this game as well, too. It just seemed like the Lakers were more prepared for this moment. There's a stat that they have about how teams coming off of a Game 7 and a Game 1 historically are not great. So there was some advanced analytics there to recommend the Lakers as a play last night. For me, it was just a game that you don't take. You sit back, you relax, and you kind of enjoy. That being said, if you're Golden State, excuse me, I'm battling a little bit of a cold here, a little chest cold. But if you're Golden State and you hold the Lakers to 24% shooting from the three-point line, right, and you still lose the game, that's a huge problem for you, And watching the end of that game, there were so many times when Golden State had an opportunity to attack the rim. And they would attack the rim, and then they would stop, and they would turn, and they would kick it back out for a three-pointer from 4 feet behind the line. Take the ball to the cup, dude. Like, even that last play with Jordan Poole, you got 2 timeouts. You're down by 3. Why are you taking a 40-foot three-pointer when there's a wide-open lane in front of you? Drive the ball to the rim. Maybe the defense collapses. Maybe you get a better shot. But Jordan Poole, you've been the guy who's been complaining about playing time, complaining that the young movement and Kuminga and you and DiVincenzo and these guys aren't getting burned, aren't getting their fair share of opportunity, and then you jack up a 3 like that at the end of the game.
I think you answered. I think you answered your own question right there.
Draymond should have punched you in your face to begin the year. You know what I mean? Because that was egregious.
Well, like I said, I think you asked the question. I think you answered your question right then and there. Is he wanted the shot, and he was going to take it wherever. There's sometimes when you see a guy get a ball right, and you see him start to dribble down or whatever, you can just see it in their eyes. I watch it. I watch it with Zach LaVine all the time. I'm like, there's no way this dude's passing. He's shooting a shot no matter what. Doesn't matter where it's at. He's shooting the shot. And I think that that's exactly what we saw here. I think Jordan Poole wanted that last shot.
Yeah, listen, they better be careful here, right? And listen, I know the stats, right? Steve Kerr is 19-0 against the Western Conference in his career in the playoffs. That's an incredible stat. Right, he's never lost since he's been coach of the Warriors. They have never lost they go to the finals. Right, the run has been incredible. Except for the year they missed the playoffs. So that to me, is going to be very telling. How does Steve Kerr adjust to this? It seems like they're losing. I didn't think that the Lakers would be able to win the matchup. Like I thought that the Wiggins, Poole, Klay Thompson set would definitely be better than the LeBron, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell set that we have. But it's turning out, I mean, Schroeder came up huge last night. Troy Brown Jr. hit a big three as well, too. And the Lakers, they lost the 14-point lead, which Golden State can do. We all know they can turn it at any moment, turn it on. They start hitting threes. The crowd gets into it. It's quicksand. You can't get out of it. But it didn't matter. They hit the big shots at the very end. LeBron was huge when he needed to be. And AD was an absolute man last night. And props to him, because I've dogged you a lot in this playoffs.
Well, like I said, anytime that you can hold Stephen Curry to 27 points in 37 minutes, I mean, you're going to have a good shot of winning that game. Klay Thompson did step up with 25, Jordan Poole with the 21. But again, I watched Draymond Green out there, and, Draymond Green played some bad basketball. I mean, very, very sloppy. Saw a ton of turnovers. I don't even know if that stat's on here. Well, there was him. Yeah, Stephen Curry had 5 turnovers by himself. I mean, when you look at that number right there, and him having five turnovers, I mean, that's something that's just not going to happen again. It's just not going to happen.
Say hi, Oliver. I have a sick little boy at home today, so.
Well, you are taking his room, so.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Give me 1 second, please, Tyson.
Yeah,
Jeremy, can you hop in for 1 second?
Actually, where's Paul J. Swin? I thought he was coming in.
Oh, you can pull Chad in. Chad's ready to go.
Nah, I don't want Chad.
Wow.
No, I don't like Chad's on timeout.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so Jay Swin, you can go ahead and chime in here. What? I know you did. I know you didn't get to see any of it.
I got to see a little bit of it. I thought it was something that I read that LeBron said that he's, they've been playing playoff basketball for 2.5 months now, so they know how to be resilient. They know how to defend against a crowd that got really raucous during that 14-0 run by the Warriors. And another thing is, if AD plays this way, 30 points, 23 rebounds. I heard some other talking heads last night when I was on my drive over to the local pub that said, if he plays this way, the Lakers are the most dangerous 7 seed in NBA history. I mean, yes, they had a play-in game, so they got a little bit more wear and tear on their tires, but this is a team that all of a sudden has figured it out. AD missed a lot of games. LeBron missed games with his foot, but still, this is a team that could knock off the Warriors. And you know what? Even though the number 1 Denver Nuggets just continue to plod along and win games and just put up stats and, earn those victories, you could say, watch out. The Lakers could go from being an underdog to going to the favorite.
Well, I mean, you could say that they're an underdog, but at the bottom line, there's a 7 seed that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis on it. And if you put that team on paper, so let's just say that you had a blank slate, right? And you took every single team with their starting lineups and you decide, hey, let's rank these teams. There's no way that Laker team is going to be ranked 7th. Like you said, they really didn't have, they had so many injuries throughout the year. Yeah, and, kind of like me and Jeff were talking a little bit before the show, is the regular season just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it would be one thing if you have home court throughout the entire playoffs. That's a plus. But if you're not getting that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And we talked about the continuancy of being able to play basketball the entire time where other people are sitting. And that does it does factor in, whether you want to talk about fatigue or not, but just the synergy of the team being able to continue to play where other teams are sitting down. I think that has a big deal with it. But when we talk about the Lakers as a 7 seed, to me, that's just, it just, we're just throwing out numbers here. I mean,
if you pay attention to the internet, to be fair, the NBA rigged it so that they could get in the playoffs. I mean, if we're really going to talk.
Well, that's what as Mr. Ian Z says on YouTube over there about how the league is absolutely rigged. So
right.
LeBum can get in.
LeBum can get in, and then he can beat everybody, and the Lakers get every call, right, Ian? That's the way it goes. The Lakers get every single call.
The Lakers do get every call. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well,
I mean,
so we'll see what
in the footing, right? I mean, they shot 29 free throws yesterday. To Golden State shot 5 or 6? I'm sorry, 6. So that's a huge discrepancy there. However, Golden State did shoot 53 3-pointers in the game. So that might be where your discrepancy lies. If you decide to dribble the ball in, stop, and then kick it out to a guy who's 35 feet away from the basket, maybe we got a problem there.
I need you to calm down a little bit here. Nobody is personally attacking your GOAT. Everything is okay. All right, everything's okay. I need you to take a couple deep breaths. We're gonna get back.
I'm fine.
We're gonna.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, the blood pressure seems to be rising a little bit. I got the old Jeffrey blood pressure over here. It's spiking. So we just need to, a couple deep breaths. We did have some hockey as well. We had a great Game 7 that didn't turn out to be a great 7. The Rangers fell flat on the face. I know I went ahead and brought in the Bad Burrito boys here. Paul, I'm going to defer to you a little bit on this. I know that you have a little bit of the hockey knowledge about what's about to happen here. As a former Devils fan, I know that you said that, if I think 2015 is when you stopped being a Devils fan, but as everybody was against me and the Rangers, because the Rangers with Tarasenko, Panarin, Kane are basically like the Blackhawks of the East. Obviously, I was pulling for them. They absolutely did not show up Game 7. They got completely blanked. The Devils won it in Game 7. I know you were pretty happy about that one.
Yeah. So, not for any other reason than I hate the Rangers. So, anytime that they can lose any series, I'm pretty happy about it. But yeah, no, the Devils of yore are or of my, I guess, long gone. This new iteration of the Devils is a fast, puck pushing. I mean, they were flying all over the ice the first 15 minutes of that game.
I mean, they manhandled.
It set the tone. I mean, Jack Hughes was literally skating out of his skates. He couldn't keep himself on the ice. He was tripping over blue lines. But yeah, it was fun to watch. It was interesting. I mean, I know you're the Blackhawks East. I think Jonathan Taves had 3 less points than Panarin and Kane in that series. But
yeah, and didn't play. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, looking at their plus minus, the entire Rangers team is a negative. I mean, it was just a very, very poor performance.
Yeah, that'll happen in a 4-0 game. But yeah, the Devils won, the Rangers did not win. My Islanders also got bounced from the playoffs, so these things happen. But we saw 2 great games last night.
Absolutely, 2 great games. We saw the Florida Panthers go into Toronto, win 4-2, and I know I put on the text that Montour from the Panthers is just having himself up in NHL playoffs. I believe he scored 6 goals in 6 games. He has just been absolutely on fire, and to watch that game, no, that was the other one. To your point about flying around, the Florida Panthers look very, very fast, and the Leafs just couldn't stay up with them the entire game. I don't know if you got to watch the whole game, but man, that was a great, great game on the ice.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing, and you mentioned it, the Florida D-men really showing their presence. And one thing that the Panthers have that maybe the Maple Leafs lack is stronger forwards. So both teams are fast, but you have a lot of finesse on the Maple Leafs. It's why they bring in guys like Ryan O'Reilly and Morgan Riley. Why they try to add, a little heavier players, but your Kachucks, Verhage, I mean, they can be stronger around the dot in front of the net. They're playing the Panthers are playing playoff hockey. I had them to pick the win last night, and it looks like they could for sure take the series.
Absolutely. When it came out and the Toronto Maple Leafs are favored to win the Cup going into this series, the Florida Panthers, I think some people are forgetting, were the President's Cup trophy winners last year. I mean, this team knows what it's doing. They have the ability. I mean, they just knocked off the Bruins, the current President's Cup trophy, in 7 games. We saw another stat that continues to ring true. When the Florida Panthers score first, they are undefeated. They are now 4-0, scoring first. So that is something to look at. But I think it's time for the sports world, especially the hockey world, to start looking at the Florida Panthers. And they are true contenders to raise this cup this year, in my opinion.
I agree.
The other game we saw was the Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars. And this game was wild from the beginning. We had 6 goals in the very first period. Every time I looked up at the TV, the horns were going off, the sirens were going, arms were in the air. It looked like it was going to end up being a 15-goal game or something. It ended up being 5-4 with the Kraken coming back to win in overtime. What a game. I didn't stick around for the overtime, unfortunately. I saw the highlights, but that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, like you said, a couple times I looked up and I thought I was watching a replay. Every goal scored by the Stars was scored by Joe Pavelski.
4 goals. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, historic. I mean, what a performance. Tough to take a loss when you score. And he just came back from a concussion. He was the player knocked out by the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
But you're similar, I guess, to the comments about the Panthers. Is you got some grinders on the Kraken. Yanni Gourde is one of the guys formerly of the Lightning, and he's one of those gritty, in your face, in the corners, in front of the net. He got the game winner. But those are the kind of players that show up in the playoffs. And I don't know if the Kraken take the series, but they're going to make it a fun one regardless.
Absolutely. There's absolutely nothing like playoff hockey. I'm glad that Jeffrey's starting to get into it a little bit. We turned him onto it a little bit. He's starting to see what we've been talking about. There's really nothing like playoff hockey. Tonight we got the Devils and the Hurricanes kicking off their series, and the Oilers and the Knights kicking off their series. Jay Swin just chimed in and said the Oilers have now jumped the Leafs as the favorites to win the cup now. I think that Edmonton Oilers series and Golden Knights is going to be a tough series. I'm not just going to straight up give it to the Oilers. The Golden Knights have proven that they can be tough. They were the number 1 seed. They battled back in the last series. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for them to get out of that series as well. Who do you like in that series, Paul?
I think it's going to be pretty close. I think we're going to see you're going to see Carolina play faster than they did against the Islanders. The Islanders are they'll make you run through the mud. But the Devils, as we saw in the Rangers series, they are a fast team. They'll play a track meet with you. They're fine with that. So I think you're going to see a lot more speed up front from Carolina. This one's going to come down to if the rookie goalie from the Devils can continue to stand on his head. I think, a Game 7 shutout is unmatched. So, yeah, the last time the Devils pulled that off was 2003 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and by arguably the best goalie of all time. So I think it's going to – the series is going to come down to goaltending, and if both of the teams play pretty similarly on the power play and the penalty kill, so – I think it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see this one.
Like I said, there's nothing like playoff hockey. For those of you that aren't watching it, just put it up on a separate team, watch some highlights. There's definitely something about watching playoff hockey. There's even something more to be said about being present at playoff hockey. Is unlike anything else in sports, in my opinion. Game 7 in basketball is very good. Game 7 in any sport is good. But to me, hockey almost feels like a Game 7 every game. So make sure that we tune in for that. So moving on. Go ahead.
So who's the one who's got the Connor guy?
Oilers.
Edmonton. And when's the last time Canada won a hockey championship?
That would be a question for Jay Swin, because I'm going to say it's been a minute.
And then my last question is, and Chad, we can bring you in on this if you don't mind. I'd love to fold you into this conversation. Chad, you're obviously a Texas, I don't know, scumbag. But what I know you're a fan of a lot of the Texas teams that play, and the Dallas Stars are your hockey team. And I know we were out last night, and Paulie Parputz had a nice little 2-teamer with the Florida Panthers and the Kraken. As he's sitting at your bar rooting against your team, how does that feel internally?
Well, Jeff, since I'm such a scumbag, you don't know me very well. I could give two shits about hockey.
Exactly. Here we are. And that's why we bring the boys in for one of our favorite segments every single week. It is Gap Wedge Wednesday.
1993 was the last time that Canada team won.
That was the Canadians, right?
Correct.
Is the Canadians. I think we just lost Chad again. Unfortunately, he keeps getting booted. Got to watch the language, Chad. That's all I'm going to say. Got to watch the language. They went ahead. They stitched it right up, bud. We'll get a recap as soon as Chad gets back off of whatever just happened with him exactly. But what are we looking at this week? What do we have down the range, shall we say, over here, Paul?
So for this week's golf event, we have the Wells Fargo Championship. It's at the Quail Hollow Golf Club.
Oh,
it's a par 71 this year.
Yeah.
Long one. It's over 7,500 yards. And our greens are on Bermuda grass with Poa trivials.
With what?
So Poa trivials, it's basically just they put stuff down so that the greens stay lush during like down seasons. Bermuda's tough to keep up year round, so. But
it's what we have in Florida, right? Is Bermuda?
It's Bermuda basis, yeah. Yep.
Okay. I know you guys are really big into the grass. The grass means a lot to you, so.
Not as much as it does you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I was way bigger into the grass in college, but yeah.
I don't mind a little green bean, here and there, a little hello, hi, how you doing, whatever. And, they say it's good for your health as well, too.
You're taking the edge off? I got it.
I don't know. That's just the angle that I'm going to take on it. Chad, welcome back in. We were just talking a little bit about what we got in store. But before we got there, I did want to recap last week. It was a great week. You had some really nice picks, man. The Akshay Bhatia and some of these other guys. Obviously, the cream finally rose to the crop in our golf league. Your boy takes down number 1, first place. I appreciate all 4 of you who didn't set lineups this week. Thank you so much. We'll take those points and we'll keep it ticking out throughout the rest of the season. What did you think about the golf tournament last week, Chad?
I mean, it played out pretty much exactly the way I thought it would. Finau, Rahm, the only 2 players really that would have had a shot, and they go 1-2, obviously. Bhatia coming through was big for me. I had top 10, top 20, so he covered my week, and it is what I thought it would be. So,
and we let him off the hook.
Yeah, we did.
We were close, but we were close. Did you guys take Finau straight up or no?
I didn't have any Finau.
Oh yeah, he's too short of odds for us. All right, so back to what we're looking at this week. We did mention Quail Hollow is going to be happening. What are we looking at in terms of ball strikers? Who's played well here? And what are we breaking down here, Chad?
This is definitely a bomber's course.
Okay.
I was looking at some drive stats this week. and 84% of drives at Quail Hollow the last 4 years that they played back until the PGA Championship were over 280 yards. So that means all the boys are pulling out the drivers this week for the most part. So
Tour
I think
average.
those guys.
Or
Tour
average right
average what?
about 300.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you got like the shorter hitters. If they don't have to, they'll pull out their 3-wood and hit it 260 to place it.
Right.
This course you're not doing that because it's so long. Like Paul said, it's over 7,500, but it's only got 3 par 5s. So you're getting your distance from the par 4s. A lot of them over 450. So the guys got to get them out there.
All right. So, any big hitters that we're looking at to kind of circle and target this week? Give you, a top, a mid, and a very long shot, if you don't mind.
My guys that can put a ball out there. I'm looking at Hovland. He's been playing difficult courses very well lately. He was, I want to say, 3rd at the Masters, top 10 at Bay Hill, or 7th at the Masters. Sorry, 7th at the Masters, 3rd at the Players. 2 tough courses. 10th at Arnold Palmer, which is long and tough. He's been playing pretty good as long as he can. We all know his short game and putting, but everything else he ticks the boxes. He's number 1 ball striker the last 24 rounds. So, he's 18-1. A guy that I am going to be betting probably every week if it's a difficult course is going to be Thigala, because he's not getting any respect. He's 45-1. He's been up there with the boys the last few rounds. Was he 9th at the Masters, 14th at Arnold Palmer, 6th at the Genesis? Those are awesome, tough courses that also are correlating to Quail Hollow. So, I'm going to stick with the guns on that. I'll let Paul go with a couple of his guys, and then we'll get into the long shots later.
Paul, who do you like?
Yeah, so speaking just to the Victor Hovland point, the stuff that Hovland does well, this course accepts, appreciates. These are the kind of players that
rewards
are gonna. That's the one. Are going to come on top. So Hovland's weakness, as we've mentioned previous pods, is chipping. So his short game off the green is his weakness. What he does well is lag putt, and this is a course where 3-putt avoidance is huge. Greens are big. They're firmer. We're going to be putting pretty quick. The stat sheet reads that the stimp is 12, but you're going to see 12 on just about every stat sheet out there. Courses don't like to say our greens are slow, especially for PGA Tour events. But Quail Hollow, firm, fast greens, Bermuda grass. Hovland is a guy who gets it tee to green as well as just about anyone. The one thing that might concern me is he's a better bent putter than he is a Bermuda putter, loses strokes a little bit on Bermuda. But again, we're talking about a minuscule razor's edge amount on that. And if he doesn't have to chip because he's hitting big greens, I think it's a benefit for him. A guy that I'm looking at the top, I know one of the stats Chad likes to look at is course history. Be careful when you're looking at course history and you're not looking at event history this week. This course has been hosted by this event has been hosted by 2 other courses over the course of the last 7 years. They had the PGA Championship was here. They played it. The 2022 version was at Potomac at Avenel. That's a par 70 course. Homa won that. He's won it at this course. But just, when you're looking at stuff like that, this course went over a renovation for the 2017 PGA. And so the course plays a little different. So if you're starting to dig deeper, it's one thing to look at. The thing about course history, though, is there's one guy in the field that's only played it once in the last 5 years, and just got a new caddy. I don't know if we mentioned any of this, but
We're going
Patrick Cantley
okay. Get into
just
it now.
just got paired up with Joey LaCava.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Long, right? Long-time caddy for Tiger Woods. So one thing, and I'll leave that.
We'll talk about that later.
Right. But Patrick Cantlay, over the course of his last 18 events, has a missed cut, a 57, and a 26th place. Everything else was a top 20. He had 2 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and a win. And he just upgraded his caddy. So with a course that'll benefit long hitters, ball strikers, tee to green players, and guys who can putt occasionally.
Sink big putts.
He
always seems to sink big putts.
Yeah, I like Cantlay at the top of the board this week. And I will say, this is an event at this course that McIlroy has won. I'm not sure if he's in mental condition to win an event right now, but we will see.
Because he's in mental condition to win an event. He just came out and said he just needed to regroup after the Masters miscut, and so he's taking some nice time off, spent some time with the family, the wife, the kid, after the grind of the PGA Tour. It's tough out there in those PGA Tour streets for these guys.
Anyone who knows Rory like I do knows that he had a mental breakdown because of RBC Harbor Town was coming up, and he hates that course. What a perfect time to have a mental breakdown.
Hey,
I'd have a mental breakdown like that too if I shot that at Augusta.
Yeah, true. Next time I shoot that bat at Augusta, I might have to take the next week off.
Right,
yeah, absolutely.
3 weeks he took 3 weeks off and lost a few mil. Any long shots we got this week, boys?
A long shot I'm looking at is Taylor Moore. He is playing some great golf right now. He plays well in the Carolinas. He's got a top 5 at Wyndham, I believe, and then he was Corn Ferry. He played really well. He had like a second or third at Carolina, and he hits the ball good enough, just over 300. He's hitting 67% of greens after that, though, so that's pretty damn good. Another guy that is out there that I'm afraid I don't want to miss on is going to be Taylor Pendrith. He crushes the ball, and he still hits greens at a pretty high rate somehow. And this is going to be pretty open, so, just smash it, get it on the green. Yeah, he hits 311 and almost 70% greens in regulation. So as long as you're not missing it and having to break out the old 60 degree and a putter to save yourself, then those are a couple guys that can really get it done. Although Taylor Moore is the 7th ranked putter on Bermuda in this field. So
I got a few friends who are just terrible with that 60 degree as well too, and I wish that they would maybe comment on the stream instead of just blatant mass texting us over and over in our group chat.
Are you talking about a Washington fan?
Anyway, Paul, anybody who you like as a long shot this week going forward?
A guy who I didn't think was for real. I thought he was a flash in the pan. He's going to be a great story, and because he's local, thought we were going to hear more about him than he did. Eric Cole is really surprising me. He's playing great golf. He's number 1 in the last 24 rounds in 3-putt avoidance. He doesn't get it out there. He's 63rd in the field in driving distance, but he makes up for it with his par 4 scoring and his ball striking. I think if you keep riding Eric Cole while he's hot, you'd be doing all right there. Another guy who I mentioned last week is Joe Bramlett. Hits the ball a long way and is doing all the right things for a course like this. And a guy who maybe underperformed a little from where we might have thought he was last week is Wyndham Clark. Another guy we might see creep up to the top. Somewhere in the middle. I didn't mention a middle guy yet. I don't know where you're finding Cameron Young on your board.
Oh, you stole my what about? Oh man.
Yeah. He's going under the radar this week.
God. And we talked about he was gonna win sometime. Like May is hit now, right? And like we had this deadline on Cam Young, before Mother's Day. Mother's Day is right around the corner. I feel like that's gonna come to fruition. This is the week for Cam Young. Give me Cam Young this week.
He's only 18-1 though. They know something.
That's going to be the numbers in these elevated events.
Yeah.
He's not 7.5.
So that's one thing. One thing we got to remember about some of these tournaments coming up, though, is that a lot of people weren't playing these tournaments before, and now that they're elevated, you're getting a lot better fields. So course history kind of does get thrown out on some of these because
that's interesting.
The amount of talent.
Agree.
Yeah,
you got to remember that.
Fields are way deeper now than they were before. When Roy was able to just go out there and beat up on whoever it was. I think Sam Burns too is an interesting one this week as well, considering how we thought he won the match, the two-man thing and didn't. Maybe it's just an omen that he does.
He didn't win that
and win this. Oh, we talked a little bit about it. Joe LaCava leaving Tiger Woods for good. This is it. No more.
Like every woman.
Jeez Louise, bro. What kind of a shot is that? Every woman. First of all, okay, I'm not even going to start with you on this. You think that every woman has left Tiger? You don't think Tiger has allowed them to walk? Like they were free agents and they weren't getting re-signed?
Apparently not, since they had to sign non-disclosures to date him. So apparently there was some contractual obligations.
Whatever.
Yeah, you can't trick them into vacations and then say, "Hey, you're out."
We do have some comments here off of YouTube. Ian Zeese over here with the GFY. I'm not really sure what that means. And then then we also have. Can you please stop hitting the table? Mike feedback is dog poop. Guess that's what you get when you have a hand-me-down Turtle Beach headset. Hashtag ad. I don't know, but Mr. Z seems awfully angry out there today.
It's amazing that people wake up like this in the morning. Like you wake up and you turn over, you look at your beautiful wife, your beautiful child, and
just had a great dinner, right? Just had a great dinner last night.
Norman's last night. You're hanging out. You're having a great time. Anyway, I'm not going to allow him to derail this podcast.
I like it.
He does everything in his life. Paul, what are your thoughts about Joe LaCava moving on from Tiger Woods, and what do you think that's going to mean for Patrick Cantlay going forward, who's already had success, but obviously more is coming down the future for him?
Yeah, I think even if it's a slight uptick, if LaCava can gain Cantlay one stroke per tournament, I think you're going to see a couple wins, coming down the stretch here. What it means as far as Joe LaCava's career is, he's one of the best caddies out there. He's, he's been on retainer for Tiger through COVID, through injuries, through everything else. He's had a steady salary, because Tiger's got the means to keep a guy like him around. He just had his surgery. He's not going to play competitive golf for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So he's letting him get on the bag of a guy who could make him he's basically cutting payroll. I mean, it is a business decision for Tiger. He's letting Joey go and do what he does. He's one of the better guys on.
Decision for LaCava too, right?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Joey asked permission of one of his best friends to go and work, and the permission, by all accounts, was instantly granted. With a smile and a hug, and good luck. Cantlay's been on Ryder Cups and been around Tiger. Other than the fact he plays at a snail's pace, Cantlay's a pretty well-liked guy around the tour. And
Jay Swin has just chimed in. According to numerous medical professionals, Tiger's procedure could sideline him for the remainder of the season.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's playing another competitive round until the Masters next year, if then.
He might play that
Play
one.
Riv next year, right? He might play Riv or Bay Hill or
Bay
something
Hill,
like that. No?
yeah.
Yeah, like I think he's gonna do Bay Hill one more time before his career's up, and I think we're grinding in that scenario toward that situation, and I think he probably does want to get Bay Hill in one more time. Chad, what do you think about this move?
I think it's a good move for Cantley. Like Paul said, it's got a lot of experience, so he can help Cantley out in a few things that maybe he has questioned himself before. I know everyone on tour is just hoping that LaCava carries the bag a little faster, just gets things moving. But it might actually take account that he's going to ask questions like, what would Tiger do? And it'd take him longer to figure it out. So who knows?
You really think that would be the mentality?
No, not at all. It was just a joke. I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
What do you think?
You got people out there listening, bro. Like some people that are really angry that might take that to heart.
Well, you think that who would be on the bag for Tiger when he comes back? Is Charlie going to be at that age where he might just say,
no.
Charlie carry the bag and whatever?
No.
Good. Tiger will carry his bag before that would happen.
No.
Well, Tiger will carry his bag at some point in his career for sure.
No.
Well,
no,
definitely not.
You don't think Tiger will caddy?
He can barely walk.
Never.
He's no Tony Finau.
He can't carry his own weight.
Did you see that? You see how Tony won, and then literally 2 hours later, they're back on the resort that they're staying in Mexico, and Finau is carrying the bags of both of his kids on the 9-hole course that they're playing. Pretty cool.
Actually, what?
I mean, that's just dad stuff, though. They made it.
Tiger.
The headline. The headline to me was just kind of a great. After winning, he still makes time to carry the bags of his.
Yeah.
No shit. It's his kid. What? Because he won a tournament? He's like, whoa, wife, kids, get the hell away from me. I'm going to the siesta.
I might have taken a little. Me and the wife might have gone out for a little adult dinner.
But the thing is he's been there before.
Tony Finau doesn't do adult dinners.
You're so selfish, Jeff.
He's been there before.
He might have got an extra scoop of vanilla ice cream.
That's his party.
He's a crazy guy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy too, because he came from the big break. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was. I don't know.
What?
Well, if you watch Full Swing, Jeff,
Episode 2,
practiced in his garage, hitting into his garage door. And that's how he learned how to play golf.
That was episode 2.
Tiger's next caddy might be, the way he's playing a lot lately, is Justin Thomas. He might be carrying his bag soon.
All right, we're going down a serious rabbit hole here.
I feel like just because you said that, I'm taking JT this week.
He'll win. Guaranteed now.
If you can get a decent number on JT, that's not a bad pick.
The one I saw was 25. I'm probably going to take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him in. The number's
Justin
just
Thomas,
right.
Justin Thomas at 25 to 1's like an auto bet.
Yeah, but he's just gonna end up pissing me off. So
Well, we will definitely see what happens this week out there on the PGA Tour. Thank you very much, boys. Jeffrey.
Whoa. Chad, you got anything else?
No, I don't want Tyson to be mad at me. So
Any other thoughts, Chad?
Nope, not a one.
Any
Any
censored thoughts, Chad? Censored?
Country Club Chad's one last thing.
Anything you could say? Anything you could say in front of a first grade school?
You're not roping me into this one. I'm not doing it.
Chad, here's how I want you. We can do this, and here's how I want you to approach this, Chad. I want you to take it in because you're a father, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to take it in like you're going in for career day at your child's school, and you're standing up there talking about golf. That's how I want you to approach this. And I think that once you
Chad, that shouldn't be too difficult because talking to Tyson's kind of like talking to a 5-year-old.
Oh.
Or you could just not come on the show. I mean, that's pretty easy.
You set it up so easy, man.
I just see Chad walking in for career day with his kiddies bandana on, looking like Jackie Moon, getting ready to get out there and play. It'd be absolutely fantastic.
And Chad has kicked the bucket. Thank you for your time today, Chad. Paul, any last thoughts?
No, I'm good, man. We'll see you next week. Good luck, guys.
I appreciate it.
Paulie.
Have a great day. Unbelievable, this guy. Unbelievable.
So we are supposed to have a show on Friday. Tyson will be live in Miami. I'm going to try to figure out how to run Streamlabs and log in and.
It'd be very, very interesting. So, yes, I am getting out to Miami. I'm going there tomorrow, and I will not be back until Wednesday. So it'll be on Jeffrey and Jeremy to figure out the technical aspects of streaming, and I will be able to live stream there, but unfortunately I won't be able to host it there. So we will see. So it will be a crapshoot whether or not we have a show on Friday or Monday. So please make sure that you follow the social media, Facebook, Twitter. We will do our best to get on there. I'm sure that Jeffrey will be able to figure it out. If not, he has young kids there, and I know that they will be able to figure it out.
You're putting a lot of faith into the funniest thing, dude. And I don't know if it's funny or if it's sad. So the 6-year-old that you saw that came in earlier in the show, right? My son Oliver. I'm sitting there yesterday. He comes in from school. You know, he's had a long day. He throws his backpack down. I'm like, "How was your day, Oliver? What's going on?" He goes, "Hey, Daddy." He goes, "Daddy, I got a question for you." I go, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He goes, "Why are you such a simp for mommy?" I said, "What? What? What'd you just say?" He goes, "You're such a simp." I go, "Do you even know what a simp is?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do, and it's what you are to mommy." And I was like, "Oh my God, what are you watching?" So we've removed YouTube from all platforms.
What is he watching?
I have no clue.
Who knows, bro? That could be taught in classrooms these days. I mean, who knows? Maybe
Simp
it's
in kindergarten.
hey. There's some crazy stuff going on in those
I
schools.
was like, it's the worst thing too when like your kid's doing something wrong, but you're trying to not laugh because it's absolutely hilarious that they've said this or done this, and just Anyway.
Good times. Good times. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Ian, thank you for all of the wonderful comments and keeping the chat alive and well. We do appreciate all of the support. A little thumbs up on there, little chat. The stream does boost our algorithms, and as you can see, as soon as Ian started commenting, we got to get a little go back and forth there. Our viewership did double. So good job, everybody. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. We will see if we're back live. I think Jeffrey can't handle it. We'll talk to you then Friday from Formula One in Miami. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy your life.
Be great.